are live. We are live. We are live. We'll get a little bit of time for the people to get into the chat. Before we get started, how was you guys' weekend this past weekend? Haley, how was your weekend?
My weekend was great. A lot of work, podcasting and content creating. The work never stops. Always on the grind. But my weekend was great. How about you guys?
Mine was good. It was relaxing. I got a lot of rest this past weekend, so that's what I needed the most. What about you, Kat?
It's been busy. It's been busy. I wish I could rest. I said yes to too many things this week. So it's been a little busy, and then I did my little college fair with my little this Saturday, just because he's graduating a bit early, and so I was like, let's go look what's out there and see what you kind of want to do. And so it's like, is this your mom? I'm like, yeah, that's a random person with this, like this is my daughter. And so outside of like doing that, it's been a little bit busy, but hopefully after WrestleMania week, I can rest a little bit because it's going to be a bit crazy this week.
Well, that's because you look so young, Kat, and you have a whole teenager.
I know, but I'm like, why would I be here with a random kid in the ring? Like, please be real. Like, it's my kid. So, yeah.
Well, I
It makes me feel old.
Yes, I am. I'm glad that you guys are here. We are going to get into some Dynamite, Rampage, Women Business, Goofy of the Week, and of course, we're gonna let Kat have the floor for the Women of Color panel. Katrina, we know that you are not an AEW fan, but I appreciate you doing this show, being optimistic for this show. So I appreciate you for doing it. If you go to come in the chat, y'all already know my rules. We respect my guests. We respect the ladies on the floor. Let them have the floor. Whatever opinion that they have, respect it. We don't. Y'all already know we don't do that here because you can get up out of here. Y'all already know how I operate when it comes to women on my show. Okay, the men y'all can do whatever, but when it comes to the ladies, keep it cute. Okay, respect my guests. That's my rule. They know. So we gonna start with Dynamite. Get into some Dynamite review. Dynamite did pop off with Orange Cassidy, Darby Allin, and Sting versus Butcher and Blade, and also Kip Sabian. And I actually love all six that's in this match. Especially, I'm a big Butcher and Blade fan. I like them a lot, and I love Kip Sabian. What did you guys think of this match? Haley, I will start with you first.
I really enjoyed it. I love seeing Sting in these kind of environments. I loved seeing the kind of like mocking of like the OC spots. I thought that was cool. But I love Butcher, Blade, and Kip as a trio. And I think when you add Bunny and Penelope into that, I think that they're just a formidable stable. So I hope we see more of them on TV. But I really enjoyed the match, yeah.
Now, what about you, Kat?
That match was decent. Never was a Sting fan, and so I know people was really hype about him. Just like, no, never was a fan. I get the Crow thing, not a fan, and I'm not really a fan of Orange Cassidy either. But I am a Kip Sabian is cool, and so that saved it for me because I like him enough that I'm like, all right, well, if I gotta watch this, at least there's somebody. I'm like, okay, not too bad. And so it was a decent match, but I do like. I don't know if I will be watching like more, but if I was, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind. I'm not going to be there in freaking on the 5th at UBS to do press. So I'm not going to be watching this. I will be, I guess, there. But as far as I like Kip, and so that was good. I do think the stable works really well. And so again, if I have to watch it, I'm not opposed to that stable. And so otherwise, it's a decent match.
Keep in mind, y'all, she did it for me. Okay, so why is she on? She did it for me because I asked her to be on here, so she did it for me.
That's a real one, guys.
Yeah, yes, I agree with both of you guys. But I love all six. That match was fun. I do want to see more of the trio with Kip Sabian, Butcher, and Blade, and that whole faction. Do they even have a name? I don't think they have a faction name.
I don't think so.
Here to be a menace. Now you get kicked out on here too. King of the North already. Okay, so then after that we had the AEW. Oh yeah, that was a good picture. I like how Sting just fits in with the he's cool. This is my son and his cool friend. I'm just having a good time. Life is short.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then after that we had the AEW World Tag Team Championship match. Top Flight versus the Guns. Now, Kat, I know you're not a big the Guns, so I'm gonna start with you so you can get it out the way. What did you think about the tag match between Top Flight and Top Guns?
It was solid, but I can't. I'm sorry. I don't like Billy Gunn was somewhat tolerable, and I think for me when I liked him it was because I liked how he was with like that storyline with him in China where it seemed like he was really concerned, and I felt like, oh, you care much for me. I'm the same way with my friends. Like I'm ready to like. I'll throw myself because I'm little, so I'm not crazy, but like maybe I'll like hop on somebody and like try to get them down, and so I respect that. But I just don't like them. I don't like the whole like no. But it was a decent tag match. I because I don't like the Guns, I had to automatically go against them off that alone. I'm just like, you know what? You might have been good in the match, but no, because I don't like you guys, and so I can't pretend. So I can't like be like, okay, it was a solid. No, we're gonna have to disagree there. It was a solid tag team match, though. I do not like them, and so automatically I'm just gonna root against them because of that. But it was really solid tag team work. I'm all for good tag team matches when the work looks well, and they had really good on both ends. It was really good tag team work, and so that was enjoyable.
See, that was fair. So y'all can't say Kat is biased because she gave a real answer, y'all. What about you, Haley?
So I feel like because I have a show about tag team wrestling, tag team wrestling is like made for me. But I really love Top Flight. I think that they're one of the best tag teams that AEW's got right now, and I love seeing them on TV. I love seeing them push these younger teams and younger talent, and I feel like they bring something really fresh to the tag team division. The Guns, I'm also admittedly not a fan of them, but you know, I realize that they're just like a transitional thing. It's fine. You just got to deal with it for a little bit longer. But, you know, they're there. It is what it is.
Rightfully so. They're doing their job as a transitional. I feel like they're starting to kind of make the best out of it. The best way that they can. Oh, yeah. It's not terrible, but it's just still like... why do they have it? But at the same time, I'd rather them be transitional than the Acclaim be the transitional tag champions anyway. So, win, I guess. I guess. Because we already know it's possibly for FTR anyway. So, after that, we had... Oh, yeah, speaking of FTR, they end up showing up after the match. And, you know... I always say that FTR hate is only online, as you can hear the crowd. So we're going to eventually get FTR versus the Guns, probably about double or nothing, probably. Oh, the spit was nasty. That was nasty. You can't pay me enough for somebody to spit on my face. I don't care if it's for script or not. It's just nasty. That is just nasty. So we're gonna move on from that. Let me pull it. Okay. Then we have Hook versus Stokely. Now Stokely, that was funny. He came out. I heard people talking about Nation and Domination. He tried to give the ref a doctor's note and it ended up being a Wingstop receipt. So funny. That was funny. The comic relief in wrestling is what we need, and he's bringing that. I can't say that. He is bringing that. Because there's a lot of things that is lacking in wrestling, and I always felt that the comic relief in wrestling was losing its space. But you have Stokely, and he's kind of bringing that in, and I thought this was a little fun. You know, what did you think, Haley? I'll start with you again.
I thought it was a nice way to kind of break up the show. I really enjoyed it, and I think that Stokely made Hook look great in the match. He took a lot of like manager bumps, and I just loved it. I loved him before the match talking about how he's retiring. I just thought it was fun, and I think that Hook fits in really well in these like comedic matches and spots, surprisingly.
Yeah. What about you, Katrina? Did you watch it? Did you like it?
So I do appreciate the comedic, just because I even appreciate it when he was in WWE as well. Like, everybody can't pull that off without it being irritating, and he actually pulls it off very well, where it's like perfect timing, or he says the right thing, and I'm like, okay, that's funny, and it's very hard sometimes to make me laugh. And so I'm a bit of a tough critic of it. Like, if I want to laugh, make me laugh, and he actually did make me laugh. I'm not really sold on Hook. I mean, people have been like, and I never really saw it when I was there in person. I'm like, I guess only person in my section just not excited about this, and I'm like, I guess, like, I understand who his dad is. That's totally cool, but I do think he needs a little bit more tweaking as far as being more polished personally. And so because of that, but I do think he did. I think Stokely kind of being around him made it look better. And so I think he sold fabulously for him. And that is sometimes hard, because you can sell a match, sometimes it makes a person look like $1 million, even if I'm not a fan of them. So I thought that was done well. And maybe while he's doing more of these matches where it's not so serious, or he's just not beating people up and leaving, that maybe this will help also kind of smooth him out a bit, like just make him a little bit more, like, I feel like he needs a little bit more time to be like a top person, personally. But otherwise, I thought it worked, and I think it's because of Stokely. I think that was the reason why it worked so well, because he is funny. The whole like winks, I'm like, okay, I laughed, so it worked.
I think it works for Stokely because he's already a naturally funny guy. So it's when you naturally funny, like, he could say anything and it'll be funny. Like, especially his tweets sometimes, it's just like, who thinks of that? Only you thinks of stuff like that. So I respect both of you guys' opinions. So, y'all hit it right on the head. And then after that, of course, Adam Cole came out to address, just letting the fans know where he's standing and just things like that. And then we get Daniel Garcia come out. And then me personally, when he came out, I just started laughing because I'm like, what do he want? Like, what do Daniel Garcia want? And then he spoke facts, though, when he said that I beat Bryan Danielson. I beat all of these pro wrestlers. I'm the best pro wrestler, but then he changed it to sports entertainer. So we're going to see this Wednesday, Adam Cole versus Daniel Garcia. What do you think so far what do you think of Daniel Garcia, Katrina, if you, been watching him? Do you like him, or what's your thoughts on him?
I don't have too much because I don't really watch him. Like, I had to do a little peeking a bit because I've seen a bunch of people on Twitter, and so I'm always like, okay, Twitter, let me see if people on Twitter are right, or they're just hyping stuff up, because I feel like Twitter always let me down. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to see what the hype is. And I'm like, oh, you guys, did it really hold up to what I thought? And so for what I've seen, he's pretty decent. I mean, I was an Adam Cole fan of him prior. Like, they annoyed me, but they annoyed me in a good way when he was with, Undisputed. And so it wasn't like I was like, oh, turn my TV. It was more like, oh, you're being annoying, but I'll watch. And so I feel like he kind of kept most of that coming into AEW. And then it was just I did even like the reference of saying like pro wrestling and the sports entertainment, because as much as AEW like to say they aren't, you guys are definitely sports entertainers. Let's call a spade a spade. You guys engage in things that will be for more entertainment wise rather than actual wrestling. And so I was okay with that line as well, because I'm like, okay, Daniel Bryan, I am a Daniel Bryan fan. I mean, I didn't really like the Yes Limit too much, but I think he's a fantastic wrestler. And so you beat him, it's like, yeah, I guess you kind of talk a little shit if you want to talk a little shit, because you beat a guy who actually can wrestle, and so that, I feel like, you toot your horn a little bit or pop your collar. It's cool. It's good.
First, Shantice, thank you for telling us that. You can also watch Halloween 5 too. They don't have no ads either. You can watch Halloween 5 and 4 on YouTube, no ads. Oh, and Candyman. Candyman too. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm not messing with Candyman. Not doing it.
Yes. So, same question for you, Haley. Are you a Daniel Garcia fan, or what do you think of him?
I am. I think that he's got a lot of potential, and I think he is really good at kind of captivating the audience and their attention. And I think that pairing him with somebody like Adam Cole, who has a lot of charisma, a lot of star power, I think that it's going to be really good for both of these guys. And I'm excited for the match. I'm a big Adam Cole fan. So yeah.
Same for me as well. Watching him progress since he's been in AEW, because I haven't heard from him until he got to AEW, and just seeing how, well, kudos to both Bryan Danielson and Jericho for getting him to when I first seen him to this point. He's definitely progressed as a star. Well, not a star, I won't say a star, but as a wrestler. And as far as like his promos and things like that, he's confident. He's more confident, and in ring wise, he's better. He's better than he was last year. I can say that. And he's still so young, so it's still a lot of he has a lot of time to get to where he needs to be. So it's no rush. So he's still learning, but I definitely can't wait to see more from Dan Garcia. But also, I am happy to see Adam Cole back, and I missed him in the ring. I missed his presence. I will try not to cringe because I don't want him to get back hurt, because that is one of those injuries that got Bret Hart out of here. So hopefully, I pray, Adam Cole be okay. Okay. So Daniel Garcia, please be careful.
Please.
We know wrestling is a dance, as they say. So learn the dance routine. After that, we had Stu Grayson versus Jon Moxley. Great match between Stu Grayson and Moxley. They definitely have great chemistry, and it was great to see Stu Grayson back in AEW, because I feel like Dark Order really needed him back in that faction, so that way Adam Page can focus on what they have for him. What did you think of the match between Stu Grayson and Moxley? I'll go with you, Haley.
So I loved it, and I thought that the Dark Order would eventually disband, especially with Hangman being so hot and cold, in and out of storylines with them. But Stu coming back really reinvigorated it for me. And I think especially with the BTE teases about like Anna Jay, I really like that. I don't know. I just hope it leads to something more for them. And I think putting Stu in this position with Mox, I feel like a lot of people look at the Dark Order as like this comedic act, but they are really good wrestlers. Mm-hmm. Silver and Reynolds are a great tag team. Uno, a vet, amazing wrestler. But Stu, I feel like, is the one, when you look at them, like, you can kind of see that out of all of them, he's the one that could like maybe beat Mox, and I feel like we got a lot of near falls and stuff, and I just thought it was a great match. I'm so happy to see him back. But yeah, I hope that it leads to more for the Dark Order.
Right. What about you, Kat? What did you think of Stu Grayson versus Moxley?
It was a good match. I'm a Moxley fan. I was like, even before, just, it's a different style than I would normally like in a wrestler, because I'm just not really like, it's very few brawler type wrestlers I like, but I thought it worked. And I will say that Stu can wrestle too, and I think that like maybe it mean that he'll have some more coming forward, because he did wrestle Jon Moxley, who's been like one of the top guys in AEW, and so hopefully that means something more for him. But I thought this is probably for me at least, one of the highlight matches for the night for me.
So you do like brawl style matches or wrestlers?
I feel like it depends on the wrestler, because I like, I got in like Shawn Michaels was my guy, and then Jeff Hardy, and very very specific type style of wrestlers, and then The Rock won me over with his like his attitude, that extra third person me, and then you had like somebody like a Stone Cold, but then like people like Triple H used to piss me off like all the time. So like a lot of times I want to beat up Triple H and Randy Orton like all the time for what they used to do, and so certain brawlers, like it depends on like some of the Japanese wrestlers I like kind of fit like just brawling type styles, and so depending on who it is, I'm okay with watching brawling wrestling. But I thought this match was definitely one of the better ones of the night.
Okay. Then after that, because I do the women's differently. So if you're new to the thing, if you new to my channel and y'all like, why you ain't go? Because I do that separately. Because women business. That's why it's called women business. Okay. We had the main event, which was Kenny Omega versus Vikingo. That was his first television debut. Everybody. This was a match. I've been asking for this man to be on TV since 2019. And I was happy to see him on TV. And they did amazing. Like I said, they were supposed to fight in 2021, but Kenny had the injury, so he couldn't. He had to vacate. And Vikingo is now the AAA Mega Champion. He's still current champion. Great match. It was one of my favorite matches so far. Fast paced. Kenny was able to show his ruthless side, of course, and Vikingo was able to display what he can do as well. And a lot of people first time seeing him, and he won a lot of people over that night. And I was proud. So, Kat, did you enjoy the match or enjoy seeing him?
I'm going to probably get some for this. I am not a Kenny Omega fan. I am not. I literally like, and this is before AEW, I went in, people was talking about him and Okada, and I love Okada. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to go watch this match, clear mind, no thoughts. And I was like, you guys, why do y'all do this to me? But with that being said, I do think this is a good match. I loved, I'm hoping saying it that Vikingo, I love the entrance. I'm all for like, okay, like get me paying attention. I love this entrance, but I do think y'all will be okay.
They don't do that on her now. They don't do that on her.
Y'all will be okay. I've that's like my energy's been the same about Kenny Omega. I think he's probably a nice guy behind the scenes. I do think that, but I'm just not a fan of his wrestling. I tried so hard and I'm like, no, I cannot. But I do think this was a solid match. I did like the entrance. Like if you didn't know who he was prior, I thought that was a really good intro to him. If he was getting introduced to him for the first time, having Kenny Omega was a smart decision because people do know who Kenny Omega is. And again, super like extra entrance. Like that's something that I'm like, okay, I'll remember this in a few months from now. Like, oh yeah, that was that's cool. That's something I'll keep in my head. And so I thought it was a solid match, decent main event. Again, it's decent because of Kenny, but I do think they worked really well together. I do think they have good chemistry. It's just me very biased. I'm just not a fan, and so I guess. But otherwise, it was really solid work. And I thought this was a really good introduction to him for like the AEW audience, like especially if you didn't know who he was prior.
Probably even said, "Cat, put the gun down." You just shot all of us. Everybody said gas. Sorry, y'all. Everybody is not a Kenny Omega fan, and it's unfortunately Cat is one of them. I know it hurts.
On the contrary, I'm a very big Kenny Omega fan. Yeah, I think he's put in a lot of great work so far this year in his singles matches with Ospreay and now Vikingo, and we're getting Jeff Cobb and probably Ospreay again. I think, in my opinion, he's one of the greatest in the sport. But the match, I mean, it was advertised as a dream match, and it really delivered. I thought it was great. They put on a clinic. You're never gonna please everybody when you do flippy style wrestling, but you know, it did what it had to do, and it was a great introduction. And I don't remember who posted it, but the Google trend searches for Vikingo afterwards, I mean, skyrocketed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you pair these two together, you can't go wrong. It was great. I really enjoyed the match.
It's crazy because I know last week I was this people was like, oh, that's the one that was number 5 last year, and that's the one that was on the top 10. Where everybody was like, yeah, now y'all see. And I had tweeted after that match, I was like, this is why Ray Phoenix bowed to him after they had that match in Mexico. But this was after Ray Phoenix gave him his mask. And Vikingo bowed to him, and he stopped him and was like, no, you got it. Like a homage. So it was beautiful. Who said this? I don't know what that is. I don't know what that means. What is that?
Cirque du Soleil.
Oh, okay.
The acrobatics in like Vegas and all of that. Yeah.
Like,
Oh, okay. He's saying that's what they was doing. That's what it looked like. Yeah. Yeah. Vikingo was going crazy with it. Yeah.
No, okay. Oh, okay. I didn't know what was going on. Yeah, so yeah, ROH Supercard is pretty stacked. So yeah, we had that. And then after that match, that's when the brawl continued. BCC came out and attacked Kenny Omega. Then Adam Page came out in the ambulance that he stole, and he came in and rescued Kenny Omega. But Don Callis, of course, is trying not to let that happen. So he, did the tricks of all trade, and he hit me, and Kenny Omega is dramatic. So Kenny Omega, get away from him, and and everybody's, oh my God, no, and stuff like that. So that was cute to continue on this elite storyline that we'll probably get to see. That's continuing from since Kenny dropped the championship set from Adam Page. So we're gonna move forward from that to Rampage. Rampage was on a Saturday night because we're still in March Madness. If you got your March Madness brackets, I know y'all was disappointed this weekend. A lot of major teams lost. Some of y'all ain't getting y'all money. I feel bad for y'all. On Rampage, it wasn't that long, like I said, because March Madness. So it started off with Powerhouse Hobbs versus Penta. Another great match. Penta did a good job making sure Powerhouse still stay strong, still stay like a tough competitor, while also, Penta still being Penta. Penta is probably one of the safest luchador wrestlers, so he is good at his in-ring psychology. So did any of y'all watch Rampage on Saturday? I know it was on a Saturday. If you ain't watched it, okay. Did you?
Yeah, I said I would do what I needed to do for the
we all did our homework.
Right. Because if you didn't, it's fine. Because shit, I didn't get to watch Rampage, so I'll let y'all talk.
Well,
what did you think, Haley?
I really like the booking of Hobbs. I like that we're starting to bring back the Book of Hobbs. I think that that's a really intriguing kind of story. And I just love how he's booked. Very like this giant monster, but like you said, Penta was also protected. They did a really good job protecting each other in this match. I think it was great. Yeah, I love seeing Penta and Ray kind of go out and do these singles matches in AEW because they always show out. And I love these like kind of like mismatched matchups that maybe we wouldn't see otherwise. I always think that they're really cool.
She said Kat already doing better than me. What about you, Kat? What did you think of Penta and Powerhouse Hobbs marriage?
I'm a fan of Penta, actually. I've been a fan from watching him at HOG in New York. And so anytime I can watch him wrestle, I'm excited about that. It's him and his brother, actually one of my favorite tag teams. Probably some of my favorite luchador type wrestlers. And so it's always nice to see him wrestle. And Hobbs is pretty solid. I do think it was a bit of a matchup, but I think it worked well. And I do, like, as much as I love the Lucha and the Lucha Bros together, I do love seeing them kind of shine separately too, because they're so good. And so it would be like, just because I'm actually a really big Penta fan before the whole like them joining AEW. It's actually sad when they had the last match at HOG. Well, I mean, they came back since then, but when they kind of sold it like, oh, we're not going to be back because we're doing AEW. I was in the audience devastated, like, no, my guys, sadness, and so it's really good to kind of see them, when they're not injured, it's good to kind of see them thriving, because sometimes they stress me out. They stress me out with injuries. I'm like, yeah, stop, be safe, please. But I do think it was a solid match. I do like Hobbs. I think he's definitely powerhouse. Like, the vibes is good, and it's like a believable one too, where I'm not like, okay, and I do like one spear, Goldberg, and then you're supposed to be important, you get that one spear and you're important, and everybody's like, oh my god, it's amazing. He actually do some wrestling, and so because of that, already like points the fact that you actually can wrestle, and it's not just there to be big and be a powerhouse. And so, solid match.
Yeah, it was. And of course, with the QTV, it's starting to kind of grow on me a little bit. It's starting to kind of grow on me. I need to see a few more weeks to see where this goes. Because at first, when I first premiered, I was like, what the heck?
I thought it was so corny at first, but it's growing up, I think.
I was like, what the heck is this? We said no entertainment, but that's entertainment all day. But okay. I'm starting to like it a little bit. It's starting to kind of grow on me. CK, you don't have to deal with that because you only watch AEW because I told you to. Kill cheese plate. Oh my god. Yeah, shout out to
can we salute Hobbs for getting you feel me? You know what I'm saying? His own day at EPA. So awesome. He got a day named after him. You know what I'm talking about?
I ain't know that.
It's a parade inside my city, yeah.
Oh, he got a day. That's cute. Good for him. He got a day. I know that's right. I can't wait till I get a day. I want a day. I want a day too. But shout out to him for getting a day in his city. I know that's right. After that, now I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I didn't really watch this match because I don't know. But we had Jake Hager versus Brody King, and I love Brody King. I'm just sorry, Brody King. It's Jake Hager. I never cared for him.
I thought I was the only one.
I never cared for him. I'm sorry.
Thank God.
He gave me. Y'all remember that WrestleMania he was in when he had the championship?
Yep.
When we was in the trenches.
That whole WrestleMania was a whole mess. Like, somebody posted that, and I was like, what was this? Like, we watched this? Like, we didn't go on strike? Like, terrible.
Every time that match pop up in my memories, because I post it all the time, I'm like, bro, we was really in the trenches. What was this WrestleMania? Like, people paid to go to this WrestleMania. That had to probably be like the worst.
Definitely one of the worst.
One of the worst. What was that WrestleMania 20? What? Which one was that one? Was that the one in New York?
27.
It was 27, yeah.
That's definitely in the top 10 worst WrestleMania. Because who main evented that one?
The Rock and Cena.
The whole card, it just, even with The Rock and Cena, the whole card, like, somebody just posted on the match, and I was like, we really watched this. Like, we sat through this. Why? Like, why didn't we strike? Why didn't we tell them, like, y'all gotta get this together? This is a terrible card. Like, the whole card was just a whole mess. I didn't even understand some of the matches, honestly. I don't even know how we got there.
Hey, Keeks. They made Jericho lose to Fandango that night.
Yeah. Don't remind me. Please don't remind me of that. Don't remind me of that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. Y'all have anything on Jake Hager or Brody King match? I'm sorry, Brody King. I love you. I just don't care for it.
So at the risk of more people being
that's
upset,
even worse.
I am not a fan of either. I really never liked. I just never liked him. When people was like, yeah, he can AEW, it's like, why y'all lying? Let's not act like all of a sudden y'all care about him. He is not important. He's just he's okay. Like, if he just stays on Rampage, I really don't have to really see it all, because like usually when Rampage come on, I'm out the door. And so if I have to do a live show, live show. I gotta do press. I'm like, women's matches are done. That is my cue. Deuces. And so I am gone by Rampage. And so keep him there because then I really don't have to see him. Just no. And I love Malachi. That is my love him. I'm just not like Brody. Like no, I don't. I can't. I try and I can't. But I love Malachi. That's my guy. Like I love him. But I do think the factions well. I do think the factions well. I just don't. I'm not a fan, but I really don't like Jake. And so whatever I could have been good about the match, no, I just can't because I really don't like him. So I understand that. I don't like him. Like ever liked him ever at any point, any wrestler he was. When he was he in Bellatar? I feel like is that what it was he was in? And even then, just trash can, recycling trash, whatever trash cans you guys use, he is all of those things. Terrible.
She said we don't know if it's good for Stan or sad for Fandigo. Shut up, Chances. Are you a Jake Hager fan, Haley?
Absolutely not. I didn't watch Rampage live. I usually watch it after the fact so I can like speed through the parts that I don't want to see. And I love Brody. I kind of sped through it a little bit just because of Jake. But I will say I do love Brody. And I love like beefy big wrestlers. I don't know why. But I just love seeing Brody just bulldoze through like smaller guys. And honestly, do that to Jake Hager more, please. Thank you.
I was like, I saw who was next. I said, I'm not watching this. I don't like him. I didn't like him in WWE. I don't like him here. I know, like they was trying. Jericho, stop trying to save folks. They don't need to be saved. Oh my God, him and Sammy do not need to be saved. Stop trying to save them. I don't know why you trying. But with the Jack Swagger, I didn't like him as Jack Swagger. I did not like him. I was just like, I don't see it. And then when they tried the purple hat thing, I was like, I don't.
I really don't get it. I don't get that. But at least we're consistent.
Yeah, we're consistent. He's just one of those like, I had to deal with you as a champion. When they had, and what's that comment? Somebody said Vince McMahon. What did it say? What a Vince McMahon comment thing? He ain't had nothing else to do. Like, look who he had on the card. He had to do something. Like, he was struggling to find. Like, none of these guys got it. And I'm John Cena. All I have.
Is it like CM Punk was on that card, wasn't he too?
Huh?
Like, CM Punk was on that card, wasn't he?
They said it was big.
Was he on? I feel like he was on that card as well. It was just a whole bunch of like, how do we get these matches at WrestleMania?
Yeah, that's all it was. Just like, how do we sell this match though? And this is my champion, but nobody wants to see it. Or the challenger. Nobody wanted neither one of them. Who? Del Rio? Give us a break. So yeah, if y'all complain about wrestling now, I'm gonna start telling the youngins, all right, WrestleMania 27, watch it. How about that? Just watch it. That's what we had to deal with. That's what these 2021 AEW fans, y'all went there in 2019. We was defending stuff that we shouldn't have been defending. But that's another subject. And then for the main event on Rampage, it was the Acclaim versus the Kingdom. I've always had like a hot and cold with the Kingdom. Sometimes I like them. Sometimes I'm like, whatever. But it was pretty decent for what it was. I am a fan of the Acclaimed. As corny as Max Caster can be, I still like them as a duo. So, did you watch the main event, Kat?
Not a fan of either. And I know, like, I think when they was at the is that called Grand Slam? The one that was at Arthur Ashe, and I was there, and the glares I got where they were doing all the little celebration, and I was like, no. Whole time just like, why? And they were like, what do you mean? And I was like, you heard what I said. I was like, my energy is the same all around. I'm the same person I am in person and online. And so I was like, I am not a fan. So they was like, this isn't me. And I'm just like, but no. They had like a little confetti, and I'm just like, but why are we doing this in Queens? Like, ew, let's like clean this up a bit. My home, this is my borough. Can we take this someplace else that's not Queens? Like, I just know. It was okay, but I'm really not a fan of either one. So I was just like, again, me trying to do my due diligence and watching everything, and so I could be prepared. If I wasn't, though, that I would have probably watched another Rampage. If I wasn't trying to be prepared and do well as a guest, I would have been like, absolutely not to all of that. But I do like Penta, and so he saved that. But even for him, I think I would have probably not watched it off of the fact that the other two matches just like but no, I just it was okay. I'm not a fan of either team, and so that completely just took me out of it because I was just like, okay, we're at the end, yay.
I appreciate the honesty. Just keep it real. I like realness. She being real about it. What about you, Haley? Did you like the main event?
Yeah, and I'm kind of the same way about the Kingdom, like very hot and cold. But I do think that they're a really dependable team. And I think them taking the loss here, like, it really doesn't hurt them at all. But I also did love having 2.0 on commentary here. I think they're so entertaining. I definitely want to see more 2.0. But yeah, I love the Acclaims. They can never do no wrong in my eyes. But yeah, I thought it was all right.
Kat done stabbed us and shot us in the heart for 30 minutes.
That's the whole show.
She done stabbed us, shot us in the heart. Like, I don't like neither one. We just like, my chest hurt. I can't take no more. Okay, so we gonna get into women business now. Our type of topic. Women's wrestling now. Play the clip, Graham.
Here's what you need to do. You need to stay out of women business.
Yeah, women business time. Okay, so Dynamite women business. Jade Cargill was on the big screen, and of course she addressed Taya. She has she was just letting it be known that you can't come up in here, and you know how Jade is. She started talking, and then of course her girl, her right hand, Layla Gray, challenged Taya to a match on Rampage, which we will discuss. So far, Kat, what do you think of Jade so far?
She's cool. I feel like, and I hate using the Goldberg because Goldberg really cannot wrestle. But like, I feel like it's kind of Goldberg treatment to an extent because it's like I want them to allow her to really showcase, especially since she's been training, and you have somebody like Bryan Danielson training you. Let her show that. And I don't think, like, I don't know, I think he mentioned he would like her to go to Japan and learn some more. And maybe that'll be beneficial for her because I feel like then she'll be more recruited. She looks like a star. She has the body for it. She's really pretty, and her mic skills has gotten better from the beginning when she first got there. Mm-hmm. But I just wish they give her, like, where to start. Like, it's better, like, progress with the storylines, or they make it where she's really, like, working. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to explain, like, as far as, like, she's good, but I feel like the way they go through the matches, and sometimes I'm just like, can we really showcase her and not do Goldberg treatment? I hate the Goldberg treatment because he could not wrestle. And, like, every time people say he's great, and I'm like, did we watch the same thing when the man literally said on WWE TV he couldn't wrestle? Like, he said he could wrestle. He said, no, I couldn't wrestle. They just got me in there 5 minutes. And they're like, he's great. And I'm like, no, he's not great. And I think she's better than that. And so I just feel like, but I always have an issue with Tony and how he does women matches in general, and this is something I've even said in press things with him. It's just like he'll go on these rants, and I'm like, no, do them better because you have a good amount of women on your roster, so showcase them properly, or not being these kind of storylines. I'm a little confused, or where even like I'm not even kind of impartial with the whole Layla Gray and Jade because I'm just like, I guess like why are you here? In this regard, just I don't know, but I do like her. I just want them to give her more time to really showcase what she can do, especially with her new training. I feel like they don't really let her show that, and I don't know why, because she's supposed to be one of your main champions, so let her show that, So that's my basic thing, but I'm good at I like Taya Valkyrie. I think she's a fantastic wrestler, and so I think this would be good for Jade.
What about you, Haley? The same question. What do you think so far with Jade Cargill?
I love Jade. And like Kat was talking about with Brian talking about Jade possibly going to Japan, I think that it would really make her a more well-rounded wrestler as well. But I do think I'm not a fan of the Goldberg treatment either. I don't like squash matches, especially when they're women's matches, and sometimes it's your only women's match, and it's like a minute. Not a fan of it. And I think, like Kat said, Jade is better than that. And when she does get more, like, longer storylines and more time to kind of showcase herself, she does really do well. So I just wish we would see more of that. I'm glad that we're getting that with Taya now, because I think that they're two very strong, powerful women. And I think it's a really interesting matchup. So I hope that they just take this and run with it. But yeah, I do really want more for Jade.
Yeah, I do agree with both of you guys as far as her being well-rounded and having her more on the screen. And because I've been talking about this for this whole month, actually, because she's always been a topic. But the more I've learned, one of the issues is it's more so because she wants to be able to have her vacation when she wants to have her vacation. And one of the things you can't kind of not have, you can't have it both ways. You can't, hey, I got this training set up for you. And you like, well, I'm scheduled to go to Jamaica with, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's one, I think it's one of those, Tony don't want to piss her off.
Yeah.
So if she's saying like, look, I got something set up already. Okay. I don't want to get on your best. It's like, okay. But I definitely agree with what Kat is saying. And also you, Haley, because she does, we need to see her more involved in the storyline so that way it can help. And I think being paired up with Taya, which is a great veteran, will help her get to where she needs to go. Because I know that she's saying that she's ready for the Jamie Haters and the Sheetas and stuff like that. Me personally, in ring wise, I don't think she is, but she can be. She has the potential to be fast paced and all these other things. And I know that she's tired of being compared to Bianca, but at the same time, Bianca worked. She was in the booth. She, you know, she waited her turn. She improved. Look, if I got to take these bumps, I got to take these bumps. If I need to work on my bumps, she's willing to learn. So you have to be willing to learn as well. And not telling nobody you can't be on vacations. You don't need to be doing this and this and this. But, you know, if you feel like you have more free time to call one of them up, hey, you going to the ring? Can I go to the ring with you? You know, just things like that. So that way you can get better at your craft. We all have to, you know, we all had to practice. We all had to, you know, it's not going to come to you. You have to work for it. But, you know, I think once they start doing this storyline with Taya, maybe she'll start seeing, and maybe because, like I said, Taya is a great pick for them for the division because WWE has a natty. We needed a mother, and that's Taya. Like, no, ma'am, that's not good. You need to fix this. Natty is good at doing that in the locker room. Natty helps, you know, she's the mama. Everybody needs the locker room mama. And we finally have Taya because Taya is respected by everybody. And she's going to keep it 100. Like, hey, I see what you're trying to do, but if you do it like this, and I'm pretty certain they, you know, they will listen to her. And I'm pretty sure Jay respects her too. So it'll be a good song and dance. So next up on Women Bidness, after that, we did have Sky Blue versus Tony Storm. Was it Tony? Yeah, it was Tony Storm. Because this week is Ruby and Willow. So yeah, last week it was Tony Storm versus Sky Blue. Sky Blue, she's improving each time. She's definitely gonna be one of the ones that you need to look for. I give her 2024 will probably be her year. But she's definitely improving. Tony Storm, great. She speaks for herself. What did you think so far, as far as this storyline with the Outcast and the originals, Haley?
I'm intrigued by it. I do like it, and I think it's interesting, and I hope it does lead to the first all women's Blood and Guts, because I just love seeing moments like that for women. I'm gonna be honest. I love Saraya. I do. I think sometimes some of the stuff that she does is a little corny to me. And I don't want it to be corny. Like, I want
Cat.
I do not like corny. I don't like corny. I don't know. I want more, and I know she can do more. So I would like to see that.
Kat, get ready. Go ahead. You got the flow, Kat, because I know, because when you said corny, she was like, it's a lot of things. So, okay, I'm going to go with Kat, because I know you don't watch, so I'm not going to ask you the same thing, but I'm going to ask you, Saraya, what does Saraya do for you?
See, that's the thing. Granted, I didn't particularly like when she won to beat AJ Lee for the title. Like, I actually was really upset about that, just because I didn't, she was good in NXT, but I feel like sometimes when you do a situation where it's that kind of a level of oh damn, moments you won't forget when it comes to women's wrestling, that she came and beat AJ Lee and her first. I felt like it shouldn't have happened that way, and so, but everything after that, or even before that, I was a fan of. And so when I was there, when she made the appearance, and I was like, okay, I figured, but it's kind of cool to kind of see what you figured in person. I'm like, all right, everybody, but then I'm just like, but why? And then I'm just certain things, and I'm just like, but why? And why is this the route we're taking? And I feel like I know Tony Khan gets a little bit more freedom, but it's also sometimes are we seeing do you look after this and you go the next day and be like, ooh, this is good? Is this what you tell yourself? I feel why was this the choice? I think that's what it is with me. It's sometimes from some of the choices, and I know Haley, you said corny, and that might be the right word. I'm just do you really the next day after the taping is done and you go, ooh, this is great? Do you tell yourself that? Because no, it wasn't. And I just need to let's have some real self-reflection about why are we making these choices. That is all. I think I am glad she's back, because it was, neck injuries or something in general. You don't want to have a really bad back or neck injury. I feel like those can be so bad. It can really be if you even walk again type situations with those kind of injuries. So I am glad she's able to come back. Considering that she was one of the people kind of edgy, damn, is this person gonna come back? That you don't think they would. And so I'm really happy that she got her second win, that she can actually do some more stuff in wrestling. But I wish they just, please, can we do better? Are you really happy with this? I want to know, if you go home oh, I killed it, or are you just maybe I should do different next week? I don't know. I think that's my issue with her. There is, I don't understand some of the choices. It is kind of corny, and it is a little bit irritating, because I'm sis, you can't go from what you was doing, where you was just doing all of these amazing things, and it's oh, this is what we're doing in AEW. And like I said, I know Tony's a little bit more lax about that, but it's also Tony, sometimes you gotta put your foot down. Put it down. Put it down. Stop worrying about being, yay, happy boss. Sometimes you gotta be a boss and be no. These are situations where I understand why Vince was and again, because Vince have done a lot of nonsense, but sometimes it kind of makes sense when you see certain things and you're like, all right, this is kind of why he was a little bit extra with how he kind of handled things, because why was this the choice? And I'm not saying WWE didn't have really ridiculous things. Of course they did. I'm just saying certain times kind of understand. And I just feel hopefully she kind of chill with the corniness a bit, because I do think she's a fantastic wrestler, and I do appreciate her stories, as far as her even getting there and getting to the place again to have a second chance to do something she loves to do again. But it's just I'm not really happy with her in AEW, and it's just I am glad though she's you see her in 2 weeks and you never see her again, because sometimes AEW does that, and I'm no, don't hype somebody up and then you're yay, and then it's oh, you don't see him for 2 months, you're oh, okay, well, now I don't care. If I wanted to watch, no, I'm not watching. You just messed it up right there, so we need to get it together. But otherwise, I mean, this, I guess we'll see if I'm watching, but we'll see what they do with the storyline with them. She needs to do something else that's not what she's been doing, because it's irritating.
I feel like once we finally get to where we know the AEW blood and guts is coming, then it will probably get better. But yeah, Soraya is she's kind of giving me I don't give a F attitude right now. It's like, you know how you said, because I feel like that's how she used to be in WWE. Like she'll like, did I do a good job at that? Now it's kind of like been there, done that. I don't care if you don't like it, you just don't like it. That's the vibes I'm kind of getting from her right now. She's on her. I was already in WWE. I'm her. Y'all need me and all of this other stuff. So I don't know. Maybe we just have to see where it goes. But I feel the same way that y'all two feel, especially about her. I'm trying to give her a chance. I don't want to dogpile her too much because, gotta keep the women business alive. I ain't trying to be negative, but at the same time, good criticism. Just Soraya, if it's okay to fix it and get out your head. Get out your head and fix it, okay? Because yeah. And then of course, what else happened after that? Rio and Willow came running out to help Sky Blue. Was it Sky Blue? Wasn't it Sky Blue? Yes, to help Sky Blue. So like I've been saying, I feel like Willow and Rio, of course, will be part of the not the faction, but because it's always 5-on-5 with the Blood and Guts. So I feel like Willow and of course Rio will be part of the 5. Hey everybody, some new people. Raw must be boring because that's when it started popping. That's when my chat started getting loud. They must be doing some BS over there. That's when y'all start. That's when the chat started popping. There must be some BS going on. That's why y'all tuning in. I appreciate y'all for tuning in because there's probably something going on. Of course, they reported that Jamie Hayter had visa issues. That's why she wasn't at Dynamite. They had something planned originally, but because she couldn't get to the States in time, they had to go with, of course, Sky Blue. And she's, great being the last minute, not last minute. I don't even want to say it like that, but she's good on her toes. And hey, we need you to do this. And she's there. She's on it. So hopefully our champion get the visa situation cleared, which it should be cleared, and we'll see her on TV sometime next week or sometime this week. So that's why we didn't see no Jamie. Rampage, women business. Anna Jay returns on screen. She did attack Julia Hart. So they may do something with Julia Hart and Anna Jay because, Julia is part of the House of Black. Anna Jay is part of Jericho Appreciation Society. So we may get another women type storyline without a belt attached to it. So that's, I guess, another, I don't know, direction. Maybe we'll see. I don't know. Because I know Tay Conti is still out for injury or something like that. So no Tay Conti. And then we had Layla Gray versus Taya Valkyrie. A squash match, of course, but it showed Taya's ability. And Taya and Jay have the same finisher. But I feel like Taya is a little bit more aggressive than Jay, but of course Taya been doing it. Yeah, she kind of, add the little extra onto it. But what do you think about Taya being in AEW? Is it a good fit or is it a bad fit? I'll start with you, Haley.
I think it is a good fit. Like you said, I feel like they've been lacking that like mother figure like WWE has with Natty. They have people like Madison Rayne and everything backstage, and she does wrestle too, but as far as like that goes, I think that Taya was a really good acquisition for them. She brings a lot of eyes to the company. And yeah, I think a lot of people like her. A lot of people respect her. So I'm really happy that they were able to pick her up and bring her in.
What about you, Kat? I know you're a Taya fan, so what did you think so far, like, of the signing?
I thought it was a smart choice for Tony Khan. Because I just always have an issue with how he books women. I really do, and this is something I like. Anytime I'm hoping the women that's in the press conferences when we're doing the media calls is like somebody will mention it because I'm like, hello, just like. Granted, there was one where he actually I was like, all right, you clearly, but then he regressed again, and I'm like, no, like keep going in a direction where you're actually giving women time, or it's not like, oh, I put 2 matches, and then you give this long-winded story of why, like John Moxley needs this and I'm like, Moxley's great, but also you have some awesome women on your roster, so use them. And so I do think I'm always upset that they dropped the ball with Taya at WWE. So mad that they did not use that woman to her potential instead of having the whole Frankie Monet thing, and then she's like not being used like she can't wrestle. She's a fantastic wrestler. I think at one point she had like 4 belts at the same time. I believe at some point, literally last year. So she's a fantastic wrestler. I think it's a smart acquisition. I just hope it's done well. I do think, if anything, this will have Jade step a little bit, especially since they have the same finisher. And obviously, you can tell the difference is Taya is more polished and she's more seasoned. And so I think that's why it looks the way it does, because she has some seasoning to her skill set. I do think this will help Jade. I just hope it's done correctly. I think that's my thing. It's just please do this correctly. And if it's leading to anything for pay-per-view, give them some time. Do not give them a 2-minute match, but then you got a 25-minute match on some nonsense, because he does this, and it makes me mad because I'm like, why did this need to be this long? Give the women some time. So if you're gonna put some women matches on there, don't stack women matches, but they're 2-minute matches. And I think this is a wrestling problem in general with women matches. Just they don't always give them enough time to really showcase what you do, which is why the women promotions like Stardom is important, because at least you got women actually doing what they can do, and we're seeing it. And so I think it'll be good for Jade. I think it was a smart acquisition for Tony. I just hope that he does it well. I just hope it's gonna be a real good story, and you give them some actual time, even a couple of matches if you're gonna make it a feud, and do it well. That's all I ask.
That's fair. But we have to also make sure, because it was a point of time AEW was doing at least up to 3, and the demo count for the women match entirely was too low, and TNT stepped in and was like, okay, make it 2. The 2 was still too low. Okay, we're going down to 1, so that's the thing with networks too, because if the networks ain't seeing it, they just gonna be like that. And that was one of the things why people was like, why we always see Britt Baker on TV? Her demos are up. She sells out her merch. She's gonna always be on TV. Jamie Hayter's another one now. Her demos are up. Ruby Soho demos are up. Who was another one? Sheeta demos be up. And also Riho, she made a whole appearance and her demos was up. So those are the only ladies so far in AEW where TNT is just like, they can be on. So with Jade having the belt and her demos are not there, people gotta start. You gotta start watching them. You have to. If you don't like it, the product, that's fine. But being signed to a network, the networks make the decision as well. Like, you want to book this person, but the shit is low. The shit is low every single time. Like when they tried to put Jay in the beginning to see if it will be, and it was still low. And this is the time where people usually turn on and they see this person come out first, they check out. So it's with USA, United States in general, I know y'all don't like women. Y'all act like y'all don't, you know what I'm saying? So it's unfortunate. We're stuck. Either they could be on TV or, so men, I know y'all don't like women or whatever in this space, but to the women that does we do like wrestling, we just gotta, we all we got. Women, we are all we got at this point. We need to stop depending on them, because they're not gonna do it. So, if you into wrestling, we just gonna have to show up for us. We got our own bigs. That's what I just been saying. I'm like, we just gotta look out for us at this point, because they not. They is not. So the women business of the week goes to Miss Sky Blue. Sky Blue is like I said, she improves each week in the ring. She's there, she's clutch. And hopefully, she won't be in this part-time that she's in. She's officially be signed. Just go ahead and officially sign her. I love, whatever. Yeah. Y'all love women, or do y'all love our body parts? You know what I'm saying? That's because y'all don't love us. Y'all love other things. Y'all don't love us. But if y'all do love us, thank you. But actions speak louder than words. Okay. After Women Business, that I didn't really get to watch, but they did show the sneak peek of AEW All Access. From what I've heard, it was good. And I do remember when Cody and Brandy had their reality show, people was more interested in the backstage segment than their storyline. I was one of those because I really didn't care. I was just like, Brandy, if you're not gonna punch your sister in the face, I don't care what you're giving me. Because she's been talking slick and you ain't saying nothing. So what is you telling us for? Tell her that. She's right there. And I didn't care for Cody's story. He brought his daddy up. We always hear about his daddy. We tired of hearing about his daddy. we tired of hearing about his daddy. Who is trying to why? You first of all, trauma. We don't want to see Jamie Hayter have to underdo what she does in the ring to make somebody else look good. Okay, we want an even match. We don't want nobody babysitting. She's not ready yet. She's getting there, but she's not ready yet. Okay. But yeah. Happy Monday. Hey, what was I saying? What did I say?
We were talking about All Access.
Yeah, All Access. I didn't get to watch it. Did you guys get to watch it?
I unfortunately didn't. I'm excited for it though. I'm a big Young Bucks fan, so I think, and Adam Cole, but I think that's why I'm going to be tuning in. But from what I've seen, it looks really juicy. A lot of drama, and I live for that. So.
Cass said I'm good.
I'm sorry, you said Young Bucks, and I just sorry, I'm not. They really irk my soul.
You love so now she kicking us while we.
I know because I feel like I think I've also seen them before AEW like at indie shows, and they used to irritate me, but they really started irritating me when I got to Twitter, and I'm like, the one thing I can't stand is a man crying on social media. Get it together, like. Oh, I'm a company older. Okay, then why are you crying on Twitter? You clearly are you think of like wrestling fans who are doing the most and trolling. Ignore them. Clearly, you're in the higher section. You are part of the founding AEW members. Like, why are we on Twitter crying? I don't like Twitter. I don't like grown men crying on Twitter. And so it just. I didn't see it, but I heard that there was drama, and I'm not a fan. I feel like the reason why I don't like shows like this is because I hate the way women are portrayed in shows like this. It's always messy and catty, and I hate that. It's why I stopped watching Total Divas. The only person who did not do drama was Naomi. She was there, she was honest, loyal, and cute, and that was it. And they kept getting rid of her because she wasn't with the drama. I stand by that. She wasn't like, hey girl, and then next minute on the green screen talking bad shit. That I hate that, and so I did hear supposedly Britt Baker had a lot to say, and I'm like, I don't do that. Let's not talk shit behind cameras, but not in person. I don't like that. And so I think I will not be watching because I didn't plan on watching, but I feel like I'm just not a fan of women. I'm just not a fan of drama like that. And I feel like yeah, I mean it can be entertaining to an extent, but it's also like women are more than cattiness. I feel like I don't like that it's portrayed that way all the time. It's like, oh, we're supposed to be friends, but then we're talking mad shit to like the other friend, or we're on the green screen on camera, letting out all our feelings, but not saying it to me or saying it to them in person. And I hate that. And so for that alone, I cannot watch because that's really why I stopped watching Total Divas. Natty was always. I'm like, all right, sis, like stop. And now I'm.
They needed a Natty. Or it was gonna be boring.
Really carried that show.
They carried it. It was gonna be boring. She did.
I did listen. I said when she asked me, and she was like, "I know," and I'm like, "You're the only person that can get me to do this. My other boss has tried, and it was always a no." I'm like, "Me, oh, girl, no. Like, I can go and do a media call. I can live tweet a media call. I'll even do some press, and I only have to cover the women's matches when I'm there. Like, that's the one thing I definitely have to cover, and I can go home. But to sit through a whole thing and then sit through Rampage,
killed her, y'all."
I would do this for no one else. So, yes. Like, if I'm gonna do this, let me do this correctly and watch everything.
I want to say Natty made Total Divas. You need drama brings money, and Natty was bringing the
dough. A lot of
dough.
quotes are like funny. Like sometimes people would randomly put Natty quotes of like yes, like, and every time I read in her voice, and I'm like, okay, definitely this is Natty. But it's just like, why is so much drama? Like the Bellas, I wanted to fight a couple of times. I was like, why are y'all so catty? Ew. Like I just don't like cattiness. I think that's what it is. Because I'm like, I don't have to like everybody, but I'm also very real how I approach people. And so if I don't like you, I don't like you. But I'm not gonna go, hey girl, and then like 10 minutes later, I'm like, girl, let me tell you about this heifer. Like I didn't just say, hey girl, to you 10 minutes ago. I hate that. I don't do that. And so because of that, I just can't deal with all of that. Because I'm like, I don't do stuff like this. If I don't like you, I don't like you. If we got to work together, fine. I can be professional, but we don't need to be best friends. We don't need to have brunch together. We don't need to have drinks. I don't care about any of that. But I'm not going to be like, hey, pictures, selfies, and then I'm like, ooh, I can't stand this. Like, why? Why are we doing this? And I just can't. Grown people should not be doing that. I'm sorry. That's like high school stuff. And so I think that's what it is to me. It's just like I tune out when it's drama like that because it's like we're grown. Why are we gonna always be catty? Men can have shows where they're bonding without drama. Why can't women get those kind of shows where it's not drama and cattiness? That's all.
To all the men that didn't watch Total Divas, Natty was basically one of those women. She got mad at you for minding your business. And like you needed somebody like if you was sitting there just eating, minding your business, and she just like, why you sitting there not saying nothing? And you'll be like, I'm eating my salad. You can't tell us that you're eating a salad or something. Why are you eating a salad? Why you didn't tell us you eating a salad? That was Natty. That was Natty, and that made the show. You needed somebody so dramatic like Natty.
No, I don't know. You have done nothing with me, Shanti, so I can't speak on anybody else. You've been always real with me, so I don't know. I don't know. I feel like anybody who had a problem with them, I told them first. Like if I talk to shit after I already told you personally, this is where I stand. And now I'm talking to my girls about it because I'm like, ooh, this, but it's always something I said to you personally first. I don't do that whole, hey, girl, and then like, I don't like her. Like, why? No need to lie.
I ain't got time for it.
Yeah, I don't know. We're not doing that. I'm not doing that.
I know that's right. Haley, do you have time for drama? You like drama?
You know, I like to say that I don't, but I always end up like feeding into it anyway. And like, I'm always on Twitter looking at the drama like, oh man, like, why am I looking at this? I know I shouldn't be, but like, I can't help it at the same time.
Yes, okay, I am mixed. I might do a couple of tweets like, oh, okay, let me just see what's happening. But I usually don't say much about it because I'm just like, let me just mind my business.
Drama when it's not involving you is the best. Exactly. Now, if it's my drama, then I'm mad. I'm mad at everybody. Everybody can. Okay. So we're getting closer. So we know it is Mania weekend, but it is also another great weekend. I have Kat here. Kat is going to have the floor. This is about Behind the Magic, women of color in wrestling. Kat has been doing a wonderful job starting this panel and just getting different people on there and speaking on our experiences in wrestling. So we're going to give Kat the floor. Kat, just tell us all about your panel, this panel that you created. What is the goal here, and do you have more planned?
So the original plan, I pitched something in 2021 and I told somebody and the person took my idea. And so I was a little upset about that. And so I'm like, this time it's going to come back around. I'm going to pitch it. I'm not going to say a word. I worked really hard in the pitch. Like just making sure, like if I was going to a con and I wanted to watch a panel, what would make me like, I'll stop by. And it helped that I'm a writer, and so it's kind of to get to how I wanted to explain how I wanted this done. And so when I got the thing from New York Comic Con and I had to sit with it a little bit, like, oh shit, they took it. Like, had to sit with that. And so unfortunately, as some people were aware, I did have a lot of negative about it at first because people were upset that I didn't actually be in a panel. But as a couple of people like Shantice, who was on it, we ran out of time. So it was to the point where I was keeping track of time, and I totally wasn't, because we went over, and it was supposed to be a 45-minute panel. We went past an hour. That the security guard had to be, okay, ladies, wrap it up. So I had like all these questions planned. I had a question section so that people could ask questions to the people, to the ladies on the panel. And my original goal was just like, there's so many things people do in wrestling. There's the referees, there's the commentators, the ring announcers, there's the writers, there's producers, there's the interviewers, backstage correspondents, all these things. But I feel like in wrestling, even though it's a small community, women have to work a little harder to kind of be seen in the space. Or we got to prove that we know what we're talking about, which have happened to me when people are questioning. I'm like, dude, I've been watching wrestling since I was 6. Okay, I know my shit. It's not like I just was like, yesterday, yay, wrestling, I'm an expert. And even I won't say I'm an expert because I am not. But I have good enough knowledge that you don't need to question me about the top 5 wrestlers from this year. Like, get real. And so in that regard, it was just mostly trying to let people know that we are in the space and we are here. And in general, I feel like, Black women of color have to always work extra hard to kind of prove ourselves in spaces. We have to always be damn near perfect to get some kind of recognition for what we do. And so that was their initial goal. But just like, okay, we're in this space. And it wound up working out that it got picked for the UK Comic Con. Again, we didn't expect that to happen. And, you was a part of that one. And then the LA Comic Con, which was like, holy crap, okay, now I'm going to LA, my first adult plane ride, traveling to another for something I would have never thought. And that one was cool because I got, I had Black women, I had Latinas, I had a trans woman, I had Asian women, and that was probably my most diverse one. And I think for that, like, it hit New York Comic Con afterwards, and I kind of like let it sit, like, shit, I did this. And especially I think we were the only wrestling panel that whole weekend. We were the only wrestling panel. And so to be a bunch of Black women and the only wrestling panel with a bunch of wrestling was happening, but we were the only panel focused on wrestling, that meant everything. But then to get to LA, and there was like a girl crying about how she saw somebody like on the stage. And I'm a crier, so she was crying, and I started crying because little tears get me going. I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much. And so we're now sitting there crying and hugging. And it was just like, that meant everything to me, just to kind of know like, oh my God, I did what I wanted to do, which is to show that women of color are in this space. And we're doing super awesome things, and we're in all aspects of wrestling, doing cool things, whether on a bigger, stage, like people who've gone in more places, like who've been hit in AEW, or even the smaller stages, like where you're just kind of starting out. And even if you just started even podcasting, because I felt like that was an important space as well. And so to now hit to Chicago, and I'm like, shit, you guys said yes too. And again, it's always very mind-boggling when they say we have all these people, and you thought that this was good enough to be put on the panel with people I'm not even in your state, and you're like, no, this is like, I want this on there. That's everything to me, and it's always still really mind-boggling that this is something that I pitched. I never would have thought. I was really self-conscious about, is this even going to do anything? Would they just like, oh please, and just talk it to the side? And so to now do this 4 times, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, to get Brooklyn Comic Con, because I did apply for that, and there's like another one in Canada, which I'm hoping. And so I've done it, and I do plan on doing New York Comic Con again, and hopefully they pick it. But I have a whole different panel I want to pitch as well. And so I'm hoping, and it's all, again, women's wrestling, because I think that's something important. Like, again, women's wrestling is also important. I mean, I love Shawn Michaels and Jeff Hardy. Obviously, that was the obsessions where it was like, Mom, if I don't watch this, I'm going to cry, and life's over. But that was really dramatic when I was a kid. But just, you had people like Jackie and Lita and China and people like that. It's like, that's how a lot of us became fans, watching other women do stuff. You have Bianca and, Sasha, Mercedes, kind of living her dream now, finally gets to kind of do the stuff she always wanted to do. And that's important, especially for wrestling, women wrestling fans, even the little girls coming and watching. And so that's just my initial goal, is just, we're in this space, we are doing the damn thing, we are killing it, and we're not going anywhere. And so if the more places I can get to, if I can just bring more people along with me, then I will. And so that's what I've been trying to do. So if I get a new location, you live in this area, would you mind being on the panel? So the one of the women on the Chicago panel, she's very young, I think 18 or 19, and she has a couple of championships, but she lives in Chicago. And I was like, so would you mind coming to the panel? And she said, oh my God, thank you for asking. I'm like, I am trying so hard to make sure if I go to a new place with this, I'm also bringing people from that area, but people who may have never done this before. So you can also share, because we all have our experiences, some easier than others, some harder than others. And I think that's important to share. And so that's basically it.
I know that's right. If you in the chat, put the flowers emoji in the comments to give Kat your flowers. We appreciate you for doing this. I know I do appreciate you for doing this. You know, I've been supporting you since day one, since I met you. So thank you again for this panel. Thank you for giving an opportunity, a space for women of color to express and also give gratitude to one another, and also just share our experiences, because the world needs to know how we are in this space, especially women that's in in content, or that does, like you said, reffing, or does commentary, or even the photographers, like any woman that is in some type of wrestling space that's doing work, even down to the fans, because if people know it or not, the women, we're the ones that's spending the money, while y'all harass, the men is over there harassing folks for autographs, and we spending the money. Exactly. You never know, like, y'all don't like women, but y'all never know, most of the people that buy y'all merches are women. Y'all don't think about that, do y'all? We don't want to spend money. You do? Y'all see any women harassing somebody for an autograph? No. We'll buy one. We'll go to the meet and greets. I'm just saying. That's sincere. So yes, put your flowers for Kat. Flowers for Kat. Okay, so Haley, who is your AEW wrestler of the week?
I'm gonna have to go with Stu Grayson. You know, that match with Mox really sold me, and I just can't wait to see where he goes next from here, whether that's singles or with the Dark Order. I'm high on Stu Grayson.
Okay, and Kat, who is your AEW wrestler of the week?
Just because I'm a fan of her anyway, and again, I want to see, like, begrudgingly, I feel like if she's on a match, I might have to check it out because I do like her, and I do tend to follow my people. Like, even if I don't like the show, I'll be like, okay, if you're on the match, I'll at least watch the match. And so, Taya, I think it's a good thing for her. I hope she's used well. And again, she has so many years of like wrestling and skills and wisdom, and I feel like that's something that's also probably needed in the locker room. And so I think it's a good, so she's for me just because, you know, I think she's going to do some good things in AEW. She's mine for the week.
Okay, and my wrestler of the week, Kat doesn't like him, but I am a fan, and mine is Kenny Omega. That's my wrestler of the week, for holding it down as a singles wrestler. He's back better than ever. He looks great. It looks like he hasn't even been injured at all. Did a great main event match, and Kenny is Kennying in. That's not a word, but it's a word today. Okay. So my goofy of the week is indie promoters. I don't know. I just saw the clip on Twitter. I saw a man, his genitals was out and he got stabbed, and then they also brought in a predator. So I don't.
Well, let's just call it what it is. That is XPW. Let's put that out there. That's what that was.
I don't even want to air their name out because they don't even deserve that.
Yeah, but I feel like we can't blame all indie promoters. I feel like that's why I'm saying it is because we had some other cool indie shows that happened, and I felt like that overshadowed the other shows, and that's why always why I'm saying it. The whole response team, I had to block a couple of people, like I guess who's running that company. The response was just disgusting. It was just like woke, and I'm like, can y'all please stop using woke wrong? I need y'all to stop.
I don't even know what it means.
Some like racist white people took that word and like everything that is different, it's woke. Can we please, please stop using the word woke in the wrong context? I feel like, can we stop? woke does not mean, oh my god, I'm a pedophile and you don't like me, you're being woke. Get real. That's not what it means. I felt like their response was disgusting. I'm worrying about drag queens. I'm sorry, but my kid go to a wrestling show, somebody's penis is out, I'm fighting. So like, I'm fighting. Like, we're gonna have to fight. If my kid is going to see wrestling and you want to put syringes in your penis, you do that on your own time. Get an OnlyFans if that's people are into. I don't know, but do not do that at the wrestling show. And again, a whole pedophile, like a whole person who's dead was just like, I read his tweets and I got more annoyed when he was just like, well, I was a different person then. I'm like, you didn't even deny it. It's just like, I was different. And I'm like, what do you mean? And so, yes, F those guys, because I'm not going to say their name again. I just feel like, let's be very specific, it was them. And I just like disgusting. I hope people stop supporting them. I feel like they're going to have still some supporters, but like, and GCW need to be, like, I already questionable with them anyway. And so that just kind of, I'm just like, they already was just like right here with me because some of the things I'm like, why are we even doing this? And then that there was, again, the response. I just don't like responses like that. It's so tone deaf. It's disrespectful to like people who may have suffered any kind of trauma. Mm-hmm. And like the guy literally gave no shit. He was like, I'm just gonna do my life over. Excuse me? No, you can't abuse people or prey on people and then think your life can, like, this is a bad week and next week's supposed to be a better week. Like, that's not one of those situations. I don't go away for the victims. And so, disgusting. I just hope that they can be gone within the year. I don't know. But the women, because some women running that promotion, disgusting. I was like, disgusted even being a woman with you. Like, I was disgusted.
And what she say? The boys. She said something like, yeah, well, the boys said give him a second chance. Like, girl, stand up.
I feel like I can offer a unique perspective because I do watch deathmatch wrestling and I do consume it and I am a fan. This to me is, it's not. They do things to get attention and it's wrong. And I know some of the girls that have been abused by that piece of shit. And, you know, it's not fair that these people get to go and get a career back while these women are suffering and trying to heal and they have to see this shoved in their face online. It's not fair. And anybody supporting that, if you work there, if you're a fan of that, you're also a POS. I don't care. But yeah, I think there are a lot of people too in that community that do podcasts and, you know, wrestling news, whatever you want to call it, that I'm also going to blame for the kind of resurgence that it's had. In the Dark Side of the Ring episode, XPW needs to go away.
Yeah,
that's how I feel.
Go away, because that was nasty. You bring, like, that's not cute. No. Like we keep saying, like y'all keep saying y'all love women, but y'all, you know, you let the people that hurt us back on there like ain't nothing happened. Letting people's reminders of their trauma back on there like nothing happened. It's just these scrubs. We just have scrubs in this industry, and like I've been saying, things just won't change unless we all just stick together. Like, we all just have to start looking out for one another, and then we have to get rid of these pick-me's. Like the lady that made the statement, she a pick-me because that was a pick-me statement that she made. Don't no woman in their right mind would say anything like that unless they a pick-me. Do better. Y'all goofy of the week. Y'all goofy of the year. Not the week, the year. Goofy forever. Do you guys have any show? Oh, wait, before we get out of here, it is Mania weekend. I know we've been talking about a lot of AEW stuff, but this is Mania weekend still. My favorite Mania is still to this day will always be WrestleMania 18. WrestleMania 18, 17. I can look at 17 still to this day. The whole card. My favorite WrestleMania moment, of course, it's going to be Bianca and Sasha's match. That meant a lot to me. My girls watched it with me. It was everything. I didn't have the opportunity to see Jazz and Jacqueline at a WrestleMania match against each other, but I saw Bianca and Sasha as an adult, so it hit different. for me, and also to see my girls get excited, even though they started arguing with each other because one loves Sasha, one loves Bianca. So that was a whole stop that fighting for it'll be a handicap matchup. Y'all better stop all of that. And so I'm gonna start with you, Haley. What is your favorite WrestleMania, and what's your favorite WrestleMania moment?
My favorite Mania.
Yes, Drip.
I don't know. I there are so many Manias that I like. I feel like I'm more of like a match more than like a complete card. So like you said, like Bianca and Sasha, Bianca and I don't know. I love seeing the women mostly. That's kind of why I watch WrestleMania, to be honest with you. But one of my favorite moments, other than the women, obviously, Taker and Shawn. I watch their matches all the time, like to this day. I don't know. I just love their feud together. I'm a big Shawn Michaels fan. Yeah, I would say that.
It's crazy that they don't like each other, but they still made it work.
They had a lot of chemistry together.
That's the crazy thing. Like, you could not tell that they did not like each other at all, but they had great chemistry in the ring.
I feel like it's always the people that hate each other have the most chemistry. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know why that is, though. I don't know why that is. Katrina, what is your favorite WrestleMania and your favorite WrestleMania moment?
I don't think I have. I mean, I do like 17. Honestly, it's a good one, but I don't think I have favorites. I have like ones I'm like, oh, these were good. Moment, definitely Sasha and Bianca, but also because they're my guys. The Hardys coming back.
Oh,
a good moment.
I cried. I cried. I was like nobody could tell me nothing about them, especially Jeff Hardy. Like I would ride to the wheels with him, and so when he came, and I knew, and it was like they was drop all what they were doing before that, and they were dropping the belts, and I'm like, oh, they're coming, but to see it like. And the New Day having to introduce them, which made it even better because the New Day's the New Day and they're so entertaining. And so to have that and then to see Jeff do his little thing, and I'm just like, oh, and I cried. And so definitely definitely top tier moment for me outside of Sasha. Sasha Bianca was more of a different level of just like about damn time, But I feel like as much as I love, and I do think Shawn Michaels is Mr. WrestleMania because he's the guy who got me into wrestling. Jeff Hardy is my guy, and just to kind of see him back, and I wasn't ever sure they'll be back. To see them back was everything for me, and so yeah, definitely I feel like they're kind of about neck and neck.
Since you're a big Jeff Hardy fan, do you feel like he should retire, or do you feel like he wants to be?
No, I said this, and I love him. Like I said, I would ride with him to the end, but I do think whatever he's going through that is making a choice where you're putting yourself and other people at harm's way, you need to do whatever you need to do to stop that. And so I do think, again, he kind of wrestles a bit dangerously. Now, did I love it? Of course. Why? That was when I was a Matt Hardy fan at first. The first time Jeff went up the ladder, I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to go with Jeff. Like, that was it for me. I was like, he did the jumping up ladders and I was hooked. And so I like the style? Absolutely. But I also am a lot older now. And so it's like, dude, be safe. Like, I want you to be safe. I want you to be happy. You don't want to be a point where you're so messed up that all you can do to kind of cope is the drink. Because he said it's drinking. So I feel like as much as I love him, I do think he needs to retire. Like, we don't even need a retirement match because I feel like that's not going to be the same. And you can kind of see it happening when he came back. And even when he was still there a little bit and Matt was gone, you could kind of see it wasn't the same. And I feel like that's fine. Like, I love you, but get better. Enjoy being a dad. You got 2 amazing little girls. Be with your wife. Take some time with your brother and your sister-in-law and your nephews and niece. And it's fine. You gave the fans enough. I'm okay with him retiring.
Don't piss me off, Rodney.
That was too bad. It just pissed me off too. So, but yeah. So that's my thing. It's like I love him, but it is okay if he retires. He don't need a retirement match. He doesn't owe anybody anything else. He gave enough. He gave us enough. Retire and just take care of yourself. That's all he needs to do right now.
Yeah, we already had the Jeff and Darby match there, right? Thought to the sunset. We saw it. We don't need to see it no more. We good. We good. We love you, Jeff. Jeff Hardy, if you ever listen, we love you. Please get yourself together. We don't want to lose you. You mean a lot to a lot of us. He trends like once a month for no reason. Like somebody from either it's always Black Twitter, somebody always bring up Jeff Hardy, and he just starts trending out of nowhere. Like what's the one dude said? Oh, I had the things just like Jeff Hardy, and then he just trends out of nowhere. Everybody just brings up a Jeff Hardy memory. So he means a lot to a lot of us. So please. Oh, he's talking about Cody Rhodes coming.
Oh.
I mean,
no, I was there because BRP had a watch party. Like they had like a watch thing when they was out here, when Mania was out here. And Cody Rhodes come out and Drip just like I'm pissed off. You heard the
but things because I'm just not.
What you don't like Cody in WWE?
No, it's just I never liked him, and that was the thing. Like when I was randomly watching like WrestleMania just because, and I'm like every time he was on, I was getting irritated. Oh, it was like Royal Rumbles, and I'm like, can somebody please eliminate Cody Rhodes? And I'm sitting here like this didn't pass. He was like years ago, and I'm here arguing with TV like, why is he still in the match? Why is he? And I'm like, with a past Royal Rumble of why his ass is still in the match, I do not know. Do I think he's a nice guy? I do think that, and I do think that he's done for a lot of people who've just been training, and I think that, and that's perfectly fine and dandy. But I feel like, why? And the fact that he got to come, he hurt his pec, and then talking about he comes in number 30, and I'm like, you don't deserve to beat Roman. Like that's gonna be a whole rant I'm not gonna get into, but I guess get your second wind. I guess I still feel the way about that whole biracial child speech he gave with, and I'm like, see, and that was it right there. I'm like, why you're not the first man with a biracial child, you're not the first man with a black wife. Get real. Stop those shenanigans. And I got annoyed by that. And so it just sometimes he says things that I'm like, Cody, please shut up. Just stop talking. Just, if you want to pick up people like Braun Strowman for no reason, for whatever reason you want to do that, I guess, if that makes people happy. But can we just, sometimes his promo, like I feel like if he wins, he's going to give this ridiculous promo, I'm going to be upset. And so just like, if he has to beat Roman, can we just not do it at WrestleMania? Because at least SummerSlam, I can prepare myself for the shenanigans of being Detroit. And I'm just like, I guess. And so it's already like Detroit, ew. So if it happens there, I guess, whatever, but.
You dissed Detroit on here? Oh my God.
I'm New York. I am a New Yorker. I will talk my
Hey, I respect it. So Kat is part of you waiting on Trips to get his lick back.
I don't know. I was never a Cody Rhodes fan. Like,
because it's coming.
Stardust.
Y'all know it's coming. Trips gonna get his lip back for that chair shot. It is coming. It is coming. And I'm sorry not to cut you off, but
I talk shit. If you're not from New York, I have a lot of shit to usually say. I'm sorry. It's a New Yorker thing. It's a New Yorker thing. I usually talk shit about I do. Even the other part that's not New York City, I have shit to say. Like, he's from Long Island, I guess. Nobody cares. Don't care. But yeah, I guess, like, even with the people, like, finish the story, and every time somebody says that, I get irritated. I'm like, what story? Like, how about we can end the story? I just, like, delete everything or something. Like, if it's, like, a Word document, I could just, like, no, delete. Like, why are we doing this? I don't know. I'm hoping Roman gives me my 1,000 days because, hello, he is that man. But
I know.
See, I do. We New Yorkers talk shit. We do. But if he has to beat Roman, just do that crap at like SummerSlam where I don't care. Just don't do that at WrestleMania. Let Roman get his 1,000 days so I can be happy. Look at him one more time with the shirt off, and I'm like, yes, thank you, and not Cody Rhodes crying and shit because I feel like he's gonna cry and I'm gonna get upset. Like
the Cody Rhodes cry.
Like, you know what's kind of, he's always being emotional. I'm like I'm okay with men being emotional, but it's like, why are we crying right now? What is the reason? Like, if I'm crying to tell you why.
Y'all getting what we got. Y'all getting what we saw, what we dealt with 2019, 2020, all the way till he left. So y'all getting what we saw.
Like,
I know Haley.
You probably WWE before I never liked him. It's just like I'm like, oh my god. Every time somebody's like Cody's winning, and I'm just like rage. I just feel like.
Hey,
I'm going to live after this and just be like, listen, guys,
Haley, I know you saw this on Twitter, but somebody said, AEW fans, did Cody always talk about his daddy on promos? And we was like, yeah. We told y'all it was the same thing. We told you.
The same note.
It's the same. He doing the same thing that we saw this already. It's about to get real annoying, especially if he gets the championship. Have a seat for the ride. Y'all about to hear about my daddy every month. My daddy, my family, wrestling has more than one royal family. All right, y'all have any shout outs before we get up out of here? It is, so we don't want to be too late. Y'all have any shout outs, Haley? You have any shout yourself out? Put yourself over.
Oh, I'm never good at these, but you guys can follow me on Twitter. It's on the screen. I do tag talk on Fightful Overbooked with my best friend Kylie. We'll be back next week to cover everything Mania season. So if you guys are big fans of tag team wrestling, you guys can check that out over there.
Make sure y'all follow Haley. She is good people's wonderful person. She's very sweet, and she's definitely knows her stuff too. So make sure y'all follow her. Katrina, give your shout outs.
I am on most social media platforms in Cat We Trust, TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. The E is a 3, as it's stated there. Just women's wrestling talk as always, because literally that one yes turned into so many other yeses. And so I'm always grateful for TK and the ladies over there. And because it just got announced literally like an hour ago, but thank you, Capital Championship Wrestling, for allowing me to be part of the broadcasting team. I'm actually really excited because there's some awesome women on that promotion. And so shout out to you guys for taking a chance and wanting to work with me. Super awesome. So that's pretty much it.
All right. Thank you so much for joining me. This is the last week of Women's History Month, and this is my last night of Ladies' Night. But I've always have women co-hosts on my show anyway. But this month I had a bunch of ladies. So thank you for being my finale for my Ladies' Night. Next Monday, there will be no show next Monday because I'll be coming back from Chicago. So no show next Monday. Let everybody, everybody gonna be out in LA. If you're going out to LA for Mania weekend, y'all be safe. Y'all have a good time. Make sure you stay in groups. Make sure y'all look out for one another. We in crazy times. So just look out for one another. Y'all have fun. Enjoy yourself. Mania weekend is a lot to do. Indie shows. It's a lot of indie shows or books. If you're not actually going to WrestleMania, see if it's always a viewing party somewhere. Just make sure, like I said, y'all be in groups, y'all stay together, y'all know y'all surroundings, have y'all location on, and just have a good time. If you are in Chicago area, make sure y'all come and see us on the Women of Color panel. Comic-Con, enjoy yourselves, keep it cute, don't be weird. Selfies, that's cool. Just don't be weird. And please keep your hands to yourself. Don't be weird to the women in LA, Chicago, or wherever you are. No means no. If she not interested, go walk that way. And keep your hands to yourself. So behave. Everybody just enjoy yourself and behave. Again, no show Monday. There will be no show on Monday. We running it back the following week. Okay, so don't come on here looking for nothing because you're gonna be upset. Ain't gonna be nothing. Make sure y'all follow me. Make sure y'all follow Public Enemies. Thank you guys for tuning in and hit my getaway. Graham.
You've mentioned a couple names recently. Who were they?
Listen, man. They call me the problem, but you could call me the can man because anybody can get it. Africans, Americans, Dominicans, Mexicans.